you walk out on that field today, ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house! When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready. And let's go to the house. And let's go to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how like we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin strap. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them. He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready. And let's go to the house. And let's go to the house. It's a wrap. Game over. It's time again for the HBCU Stroll with the man. I'm ready, Johnnie Cole, Johnnie Football Cole, whatever you want to say. Today, I'm very excited. I just don't know these guests I'm getting. They fired me up. This guest I'm bringing on is a championship coach, and she wins championships in style. She's known as the diva of the SWAC. Dawn Thornton from University of Arkansas, Pine Bluff. She's the women's basketball coach. And we just found out how much incoming we have from Leonard Moon, from AJ Jones. I've been trying to get in touch with her. I said, man, I can get in touch with Stedman Graham. I can get in touch with Billy Joe, all these super playful, but I know what she's doing. She's one of the top recruiters in basketball, not just HBCU, in basketball. And we're going to get into all that. I've had her husband on, Mr. Cedric Thornton, who's also a championship. Man, I wish I could just send my son over to your house and get some of that championship food and blood and all those great things y'all doing over there. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks, Johnnie. I appreciate this.
Yeah, I tell you, Don, I want to jump right in it. Started from Tougaloo College. First, she was a player at Jackson State, 2 co-champion SWAC champs. You were coached by my girl, Denise Taylor. And I see it where you get your style because I've been knowing Denise since 1981. And I know Denise, I've seen her on the sidelines. She was a WNBA coach. Man, you learn from one of the best. Denise is putting y'all out. She also, Coach Reed at Jackson State was on that staff. So, Tougaloo College, where we are now.
Yeah, we started this coaching journey off. I guess the young people say they started from the bottom. Now we're here. So having the opportunity to start off at Tougaloo College was a very humbling experience for me. I did the laundry, I cleaned the floors, and doing all those different things. I was an SID. You had to have multiple roles when you're at smaller schools. So
yes,
I was stealing everybody's stuff off the internet and rewording it to make it in mine. So no, that's a joke. But
that's the best way to learn. When you start and you grinding. See, when they be giving these people these jobs, they don't understand the grind. Especially in HBCU. Let me tell you, you ladies in the SWAC basketball, y'all got it going on. Y'all, you're professional, you're intelligent, you're beautiful women. all you guys' heart as I talk to you guys getting the same message but different ways. You love the women you coach.
Absolutely. I honestly say that this was something that I knew that I wanted to do my whole entire life. I wanted to coach basketball more than I wanted to play. You know, anything that came out of Coach Taylor's mouth, I was right there on it, finishing sentences for her. She was like, "Dawn, just shut up." But you know, I knew that this was my calling on my life, and I can't see myself doing anything else.
Right. Now, did anybody else in the family before you, or you just kind of because your stature? Let me say that. Now, how tall are you now?
I'm 6'3".
Ooh, 6'3", and this she on them sidelines wearing 5-inch heel. Tell me about
Very
the
true.
dress. Is it just some? I mean, is it something that does something to you, or is it motivational?
You know, one thing about it is, you know, you try to be a role model to these young women, and always being your best, looking your best, and putting things together so you can know how to present yourself is something that I've always taken pride in. So, like you said, Coach Taylor's style back in 2002 when I was playing up under her was something that she was very well noted for also. So, you know, those people who kind of paved the way for me were very, very, very instrumental in who I am and who I've developed to become.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm going to give you. You know, I started in the SWAC in 1981, and what I see in the women's basketball profession is that show. It's a show. When it comes to you guys are playing, it's a show. You know what the coach gonna wear, how the girls gonna come out, what gadget they gonna come. That's SWAC. That's SWAC athletics that I know about. You know, I was back when Eddie Robinson come out with the suit coat, Marino Castle come out with the tie, Gunslinger Cooley come out with the big old hat. That's black college football, man, and you can't trade
But
that in.
but Johnny, don't forget Lafayette Stribling, the head that was at Mississippi
Oh,
Valley. Now you know Lafayette. Now he was on a different level.
he was different level. He
Coach
was
Strib
different.
was totally
Yeah,
different.
he had a suit to go with the uniform. You know, and you are absolutely right. You know, I don't know if you know, I had the pleasure of playing basketball also in the conference. So you know, I'm familiar with all that kind of stuff. So we here, and we're gonna get into it off the rip. 95% of all athletic directors in college football are white. And earlier I've said that the black coach is becoming extinct. The HBCU coach is becoming extinct if they start giving away all our jobs in our conference. What is your thought on that? I know you've said you've tried a couple chances and didn't get some, but now you actually got in there.
You know, I was coaching at Jacksonville University before I got a phone call from Melvin Hines to come over to UAPB, and you know that was a very rewarding call because you know it's kind of like once you've exhausted that first strike one or whatever has been your learning or your growing experience based off of you know previous things that's happened to you in your career, our people, we don't always get an opportunity to run it back or for a second chance or to be able to bounce back from those type of things. So to be able to be where I am today is something that I don't take for granted. And I know it's very dear to my heart, being that I'm a product of an HBCU. You know, I value my position at UAPB a little bit differently than many other coaches in this conference because the conference, the SWAC, was good enough for me as a student athlete, and it's good enough for me to be able to coach in this great conference also.
Yeah, I know that speaking with your husband, and it's funny that you guys are both coaches and pretty much got the same philosophy. Why is it so important to you that you really don't care if you go to a Power Five? You know, being in the SWAC conference and probably what school that you want to be. I wish it was Texas Southern, but what's your feeling or your thinking on that?
I graduated from Jackson State in 2005, and that's one place that I have always processed in my mind that I would love to be able to go home and coach in my home city where I'm from. My parents, my mom and my dad, both live in Jackson. My dad is a House of Representative. He was a city councilman. So like my roots are deep, deep, deep in Jackson. But to be honest with you, as I've grown a little older, I feel like, wherever God has called me to be, that's where I want to be able to go, and I want to be able to serve there. And I thought,
Did it freeze?
student athlete, and playing, and when I was coaching at Prairie View, UAPB women's basketball is one of those grounds that's never been touched. It's they hadn't won a championships, never won a championship since they've been Division One.
Wow.
1967. So I felt like the splash hire of them hiring me, bringing me here, this was going to be something that I wanted to put UAPB on a national stage. I talked about that in my press conference. I wanted to make it a hostile environment for all opponents coming in here, and we were going to be on set to win a championship. And I thought that every year we've gotten better, and this is a perfect situation for me. Sometimes you think about the resources and how you wish things would be a little bit better for you, but one thing that I'm great at is making something out of nothing. So I don't even worry about the have-nots.
Yeah, I know. Like I said to you earlier, that we got so much in common. After winning your championship at Prairie View, you ran into some issues off the campus. Same with me. I won a championship at Texas Southern and then gone by 2013, and that leads me to athletic directors. What's your feeling on athletic directors, especially when it comes to HBCUs, because our opportunities are few, far in between.
Like I said, when I first started at UAPB, so I've just finished my third season, and I've been through 4 ADs in 3 years. And one thing, 4 ADs in 3 years. But I will honestly say that one thing that I love about each one of them is that they're very transparent, and they have no problem with allowing you to do your job and to shine. It's great working in an environment with an administrator, with an AD that wants to express his concerns for the team, express those goals and expectations, and continue to push you to meet those goals. And those are realistic goals. Sometimes, you take on jobs and people say, okay, the ultimate goal is to win a championship. But if things aren't in place in order for you to win a championship, then how realistic is that goal? And as I said, I just finished my third season. When I first took this job here, we weren't allowing student athletes, women basketball players, to be here in the summer, to work out in the summer. And my athletic director now, Chris Robinson, he was like, whatever it takes, whatever we got to do to break down barriers, we're going to do it. And so this is the first time, even when I was at Prairie View, I couldn't have my entire team there over the summer because of budgets. So for us to have the entire team here with us this past summer.
Froze again.
Coach to coach, you got to coach to coach. Because see, we got egos too. We want things our way, and this is how we want to do it. And sometimes you don't want to kind of waver, but my AD, he knows how to handle me very well. He'll sit me down and tell me, hey, this is what we're gonna do, and we all on board. Everybody is a part of the whole.
Yeah, you said something when we were chopping it up a little bit yesterday, kind of as I say, iron sharpens iron. But our athletic director, to me, is right, like you said, he's got to coach. He got to coach the coach, but as well as he has to protect you. And I think when we're at the HBCU schools, we don't understand that. We don't understand that. First of all, it's tough getting a winning coach because everybody don't win. I know you threw your 4 rings up at me, and I threw my 4 rings at you. And we got so much in common. And I think in my career, 40 years being around this conference, and I've seen some of the stuff that I've seen. And you said something yesterday. You said that first year that you get that job, you and that AD, that's the most time that y'all talk. And I'm gonna be a little messy here. And that situation happened up at Grambling. I feel for her, Chelsea, Coach Chelsea. There's no way that if she did get rid of all the players, everybody in line knew, from the AD to the women's special person to the financial aid to the compliance guy. And then when it happened, they went to try to protect Grambling. When you got to protect the individual, because your career is only short-lived. You know what I mean? And when you run into an athletic director that knows those things, and if you look at those big schools, the first thing they do is protect the coach until they can't protect the coach anymore. Your thoughts on that? I know you went through the same thing. Give me your thoughts on that.
Well, with the Grambling situation, which I've only heard what the street committee has said.
That's right.
I know
right.
if once I got this job here at UAPB, I spent a lot of time talking to my athletic director. When I first got there, they kind of laid everything out with me as far as the state of the program and the direction and things that if I wanted to do, with scholarships or what I wanted to do with housing, game scheduling, whatever it is that I wanted to do. We talked about every recruiting, budgets, assistant coaches. We talked about every single facet of a program that you could really and truly go over. And it was always follow-ups. It was a lot of follow-up conversation. Hey, I want to do this. Okay, well, what do you think about this? I want to do this. And so in that situation, even for me, and I've never really talked about what happened to me at Prairie View. I'm okay with talking about it now. It's kind of like that bad breakup where don't mention his name. I don't want to hear her name again. But I'm in a good place about it. And I honestly say that, when you communicate with your administrators, what it is that you would like to do, regardless if that vision has been thoroughly executed, could you think about what could happen if you decide to do this? What could happen if you decide to go in a different route? I think that those are the conversations that we have to have a lot more of. Like, okay, well, if I decide that I want to part ways with one player, if I decide that I want to suspend a player for drinking alcohol, whatever it is, you need to be able to look at the pros and the cons of each situation. A lot of ADs will allow you to do whatever it is that you want to do. And
step out on the plane, but they got to be there holding the plane, because you're doing what's best. You're doing what's best for your program. You're the expert on the program. They're supposed to be expert on the rules and regulations.
Well, sometimes, Johnnie, I don't know if they've been put in all of the different situations to know how to handle it. Or do we have the resources as Power 5 schools to be able to rectify the situation if it goes left? I'll give you an example. They just fired the women's basketball coach at East Tennessee State this past week for putting two players off the team that were in a relationship with each other. And the article read that the AD could have saved his job had he had just allowed the two players to stay on the team. So at that point, it's like, who does the coach answer to? And then is the athletic director knowledgeable of what can happen if this thing goes left?
Right. Well, Dawn, once I done all my research on you, that was the question. You just answered everything. Now everybody knows the truth, that you okay with it. You handled it the way you are. Let's talk about Dawn Thornton. Man, what is your recruiting? Everybody talk about how great of a recruiter. I can see you now walking in my house at 6'3". I'm telling my daughter right now, we going with her because she look like she gonna take care of you.
My assistant coach, and we were riding in the car headed somewhere, and he asked me, and he's never asked me, Coach Bell, he says, how do you do it? and I told him that it's easy to sell nothing. It's easy to sell nothing. And I'm saying that not nothing as if we don't have anything. We're in Arkansas, Pine Bluff, okay? The only other schools in our conference that are in rural areas, kind of similar to us, would be a Mississippi Valley and an Alcorn. You can count Prairie View, but Prairie View is 22 miles from Cypress, Texas, which is the outskirts of Houston. So when you're selling and you're talking to student athletes about UAPB, when I'm talking to them about UAPB, I can sell what they're going to get from me, because I don't have to sell you. I don't have to sell you a city. I don't have to sell you stuff. I don't have to sell you. Man, football just got a new stadium, and you know what Dion is doing at Jackson with the new. I don't have to sell that stuff. So so when I'm talking to a kid, they don't have to compare anything that I'm saying to them versus any conversation that any other coach is selling them. Because at the end of the day, we're gonna take care of you. We're gonna love you. You're gonna graduate. You're gonna go to class. You're gonna get honors. And we're going to kick some butt, and we're going to have a good time doing it. And that's all that I have to say.
Well, once again, about our connection is that every program that I've taken over, Tennessee State, 9 losing seasons, Alabama State, 9 losing seasons, Lane, first coach that won 2 games in 25 years, you should have been called off the rip. You should stay in the business because you can get it done. I understand I've been up to Pine Bluff several times, and wow, it's a tough town to be in, and you getting it done. Tell me about your team. What we got coming this year? I know last year coming down, you lost your top player, you got some injuries. Look, we go, and then I got some more. I'm just excited about talking to you because, girl, you've been doing it.
On paper, we signed the best roster in the conference this year. On paper,
yes.
We brought in a 5-star transfer, Mari Davenport, a transfer from UGA. She won a gold medal with the USA 16 and under team, top post player in the country out of high school, number 6 in the country out of high school. She went to Rutgers and then went to Georgia. Her waiver was approved. All right, so she does. And then we signed Karaya Beck. She was a 3-star athlete, a transfer from the University of Memphis. Her dad won the national championship starting point guard for the Razorbacks, and it's in her blood. It's in her DNA. She's going to be good for us. Razia Potter is another 3-star athlete that we signed, a transfer starter, the leading scorer for the University of Arkansas Little Rock.
Wow.
We have her here, so she's a 5th-year kid. She'll be here with us. And then we just got lucky. We got another 5-star transfer from the University of Virginia, Karina Carter. And she also was a McDonald All-American. So we have 3 McDonald All-Americans on our team. Never in my career would I ever thought that I would be coaching a team full of top 25 in the country players. We have Zay Green returning. She's coming off of a knee injury, but she will be returning for us in conference. So we brought in 11 new players. So we graduated 8 last year. We brought in 11 new players, and we have transfers from Troy, Delaware State, even Miles College. So we have a really good roster this year. I don't know how good we'll be just yet because we hadn't had everybody here for practice. The young lady that we picked up late, Karina Carter, was finishing up classes, so we hadn't had her here, and she's a point guard. So it's kind of like practicing without a quarterback. Maybe you're starting or your backup quarterback or something. So we don't really know what that looks like. But on paper, we can bust anybody in the country on paper.
Wow. Well, yeah, I know what you mean about they look like Tarzan, but they play like James. One of my Leonard Moon reached out and said, "Congratulations on your success on the hill back in the day. Took lemon and converted them into sweet lemonade."
Moon and Moon is definitely my favorite. I miss you, Moon. I definitely miss you. My mom is probably in the back screaming, Moon. My mom loves Moon. So yeah.
Oh, is that right? Well,
yeah,
I gotta say this. This come in from your husband. You know, she ain't gonna tell you that I am the closer. So look, we gotta get that in because look, said is the meanest defensive coordinator I ever faced, and he gave me the roughest time. Even though I beat him, but he have him ready to play. So I got to get that question.
You know, this year, my husband he was with me on about 80% of all of our recruiting visits. And you know, even our young lady from Georgia, Mari Davenport, I said on three-way. And so yeah, he thinks he's on my staff, and he does a really good job though, you know, I married that old man for a reason, because he's wise and he's so smart. And so, you know, he's allowed me to put things in perspective from a different angle. And so he is the closer for me. So I am gonna put my husband on three-way when I'm recruiting a kid. Yes.
It's not a surprise to us, this coach. We think because we use players. Of all the Floyd, Black Lives Matter, that's kind of making the field level, you know, recruit five-star, especially was when it's all you know this is as much. You go back to Jackson, they know Coach Dawn Thornton there, Dawn Brown, when you played there, you know, with doctors, lawyers, all those, same thing for me. And it's one of my recruits trying to get kids to what's done. I don't play pro ball then.
So I think Jones just told us, I can't really hear you. You're breaking up really bad. I thought it was me, but I couldn't hear the question.
Okay. I was asking some of your strategies as far as recruit. Can you hear me now?
I made out what you said. It's still kind of breaking up a little bit. You asked me about my strategies for recruiting, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're not gonna tell all our secrets. You know, we're not gonna get that comfortable where we're gonna tell secrets about, you know, what we do exactly when we're recruiting. But we're going to say that they have a good time. They feel like their family once they leave, and they ready to go. I don't let them leave here without a commitment. So, you know, at least you're gonna go home and tell your mom you're about to commit. But we're not gonna leave without a commitment.
You hear me now?
No, I think Mr. Jones just said you need to lock up and come back. Now you're on mute.
Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today, we're back at it. It's Monday, August 15th, 2022. Number 1. Now that the Justice Department search warrant executed to enter the Florida estate of Donald Trump has been opened, the public is able to see a list of what the Federal Bureau of Investigations found. Agents removed 27 boxes of items, which included 11 sets of classified documents, some marked as top secret and SCI, or sensitive compartmented information, material that should only be kept and viewed in a secure facility. There was also the executive grant of clemency for longtime Trump associate Roger Stone. Trump commuted his 40-month sentence. Number 2. For the last several months, thousands of immigrants crossing the border into Texas from Mexico have been put onto buses and sent to New York City and Washington, D.C. Texas Governor Greg Abbott told the Democratic mayors Muriel Bowser and Eric Adams that this will continue until the Biden administration changes its immigration policy. Over the past 4 months, over 6,000 immigrants have been bused from the Texas-Mexico border to the northern cities. Number 3. According to new U.S. recommendations, if you were exposed to COVID-19, take 3 home tests instead of 2 to make sure you're not infected. Previously, the FDA advised taking 2 rapid antigen tests over 2 or 3 days to rule out infection, but the agency now says new studies suggest that protocol can miss too many infections and could result in people spreading the coronavirus to others. The new guidance applies to people without symptoms who think that they may have been exposed. People with symptoms can continue using 2 tests spaced 48 hours apart. Number 4. A black woman has filed a civil rights suit on behalf of her daughter against the Los Angeles Unified School District and the Board of Education. They allege the little girl suffered emotional distress after a cotton-picking field was set up at her Hollywood school in 2017 as an instructional tool about what life was like for slaves. According to the suit, the LAUSD later released a statement stating it regretted that an instructional activity at Laurel Span's school was construed as culturally insensitive. Number 5. Peloton has already laid off hundreds of employees and announced some equipment cost hikes in an effort to make the interactive sports business profitable. Company shares increased more than 400% in 2020 and forced lockdowns that made their bikes and treadmills popular among those who could afford to pay to play and participate in the interactive workouts. But nearly all of those 2020 gains were reversed last year as the distribution of vaccines released the Peloton players from their home tracks and back to their local gyms. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. When you are open-minded, you accept things you might not understand. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with comedians extraordinaire Huggy Lowdown and Chris Paul and social justice activist Boy Malone as we discuss today's top headlines and more. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, the American Heart Association and Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SibylWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.
Right. Here we go. We had a little technical difficulty. Can you hear me now?
Yes, you're good.
Oh, well, good. I had to give me a little drink too. But, we back with the HBCU Stroll with Miss Dawn Thornton, head women's basketball coach at the University of Arkansas in Pine Bluff. She's known as the diva and one of the best recruiters. As we went over her roster and we looking for big things from her. Tell me a little bit about some of the things about you as a coach and some of the things that you think is very important that a coach that how you reach out to your players.
One thing that I think that I live by three pillars, and that's to serve, inspire, and motivate. So I'm always going to put myself in a situation to hire. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I'm always going to put myself in a situation to where I'm going to have a staff around me that's going to be, centered around these players and really and truly want to help mold them into becoming a better version of themselves. So when you have an opportunity to recruit good character athletes, you put yourself in a situation to where it's easier for you to build that relationship. We always talk about telling the truth. We look each other in the eye and we tell the truth. So no matter how good, bad, or ugly the situation is, I always expect and hold my young ladies to a standard to tell the truth. So that's the same thing that's the foundation of this program. And when we're recruiting them, making sure that we are going to be completely open and honest with them about everything that's going on.
Yeah. It's real important that, especially today, that these young people understand that the number one goal is to graduate from school, and that's the big thing about that I felt that I learned from HBCUs to be able to move on and make something out of yourself. So you left Tougaloo College and you went where from there?
I went to Prairie View as an assistant coach.
Prairie View A&M. And you guys won 4 championships down there. 3 as assistant, and then 1 on your own.
4 in a row.
And then once that deal happened at Prairie View, was there ever a gap in your career there, or you were able to bounce back and get a job within a year?
No.
Yeah, she froze for a minute, but again, I'm on with Coach Dawn Thornton from the University of Arkansas, UAPB. We having a little bit of technical difficulty today, but she's such a winner. Every place she's been a part of a turnaround program, and we me and her talked, and as I know, and in my career, that's kind of been my MO of coming into programs and turning around. And she goes to UAPB, hadn't won a women's championship since they turned Division One. I think the last time they won a championship was back in the 60s. So she's coming in this year. She's got 3 McDonald All-Americans, as well as she's returning 4 of her players. She's turning her her top player that came off of a knee injury. And the thing that I wanted to say about Coach Thornton was that when last year's team that was on their way, they beat a bunch of Power 5 teams. They beat University of Memphis. They beat some Power 5 teams, and she was on their way. They were ready to go for the conference, and all of a sudden, things started happening, and injuries started coming, and they end up playing 500 ball. Glad to have you back. I'm sorry about the technical difficult, but I was just talking about, how you come in and take over programs, and I thought, and you thought last year's team was the breakthrough year.
Absolutely. We started off last season, very hot. We played in the Southern Miss tournament, and we won that tournament. We beat Southern Miss, I believe, by 17, and we beat SEMO, Southeastern Missouri. We left there and went straight to Miami and played in the University of Miami's invitational tournament, and played Tulane the first round, and we beat Tulane and took that same momentum to play the Hurricanes. And I thought that we did a really great, solid job against them also. So last season was definitely, I thought that was our year. I thought by year 3, we should be in playing for a championship. But in conference, the injury bug started to knock on our door in conference. When we played and we played Jackson State at UAPB the first time, and we were without 3 starters. Lost that game by 11, and we were without 3 starters. My post player messed her knee up the game before that, and she got newcomer of the year and second team all conference the previous year. Her momentum was going to take, her being able to help us, that momentum was going to help carry us over in conference. But we didn't have Khadijah last year also. So, we had a really good preseason, I thought, and we still finished 500, which hadn't been done in 12 years last season in conference. But, we found a way to rebuild this thing back up and be able to be a competitor this year also.
Wow, man, that was a heck of a. But you coming in year 4, with the top recruiting class, and look, hey, the pressure's on. Coach Thornton, what we gonna do? The pressure's on, and you gotta put those girls together. And what is the air around there? Is the pressure on? Is we looking for the great year this year, or? And I'm pretty sure your expectation is always high.
One thing that I will honestly say that in my 15 years of coaching college basketball, this summer with our summer workouts, I haven't had to coach effort not one single day. And You know how important that is in order for you to have any type of success with a program. So we don't really feel is going to pick up like they do every year. The pressure is on the people that's at the top. So, we don't stress out over any of it. Our girls, our young women are going to wake up every morning and they're going to bring it every single day. And that's what we've seen this summer. And I know that that's the type of team that my staff and I have put together. So there's no pressure for us. The pressure is for whoever finished at the top of the conference last year. They'll pick us number 9 again. And, hey, we'll just go out and take it one game at a time.
Hey, after they get through listening to this show, I got a lot of HBCU listeners. Hey, you got them shaking in their boots. I'm going to go to Vegas and put some money on you because hey, knowing you and looking at your background, I mean, you get it done. Now, you was at Shorter University, head coach, stayed there 1 year. Was the opportunity to get where you are now? What made you jump?
I think that we've been doing a really good job of being transparent with each other. Taking a job at Shorter was my get your foot back in the door. Because I think when you were breaking up, when you were talking to me earlier, you were asking me about did I take a break in my career? So I did take a break in my career when I was fired from Prairie View. I was 6 months pregnant, and I was still trying to find a job, But I know my husband was like, "Girl, you better get a job now," because I swiped the strip off the card now, Johnnie. I swiped the strip off the card, but that's a whole nother story. That's another story. Hey, Mari, that's Mari. Hey, Mari. So, So Shorter was my way back in, and that was the first opportunity. That was the first school to give me an opportunity to come back in coaching. So I thought that it was necessary for me to jump back in, and that was how I ended up being where I am now today. That was a part of the process.
Wow. You've been through it, and you're young. What you've been coaching now? 10 years? You've been coaching 10 years now?
15
years. Okay, yeah. You getting some of this. You'll get some of this because you've had some ups and downs, but it tells you what type of coach you are. And it tells you what's your background. Let's talk about your family as far as how you were raised and to make you who you are. You talked about your dad and some of the things that he's accomplished, and I know your mom had a lot to do with your upbringing, and of course we'll talk about Sid at the end. I think we froze again. I got to move it forward. Today is just one of those days that we've been trying to chop it up, but technical wise, things have been kind of off. But just talking about Dawn Thornton and her goals and the things that she has achieved and the things that she has been through, tell you what type of person that she is. And the thing about coaches like her, when you out trying to find a job, first thing you got to figure out, and I'm speaking from an AD standpoint, is where we are in our program. Are we looking for a guy that can take the program where it is, or are we a perennial losing program? Well, if you're a perennial losing program, then you call coaches like Coach Dawn Thornton, who know how to come in, who knows how to take very little and make a lot. As they say, take lemon and make lemonade. I mean, she's that type of lady. And the thing about her is it all comes from her. As she said earlier, she don't go, it's nothing there really to sell at UAPB but a great education, finishing from a black school. So we were just talking about those things. I was giving them a little background. And where did you learn your philosophy of who you are? And I'm apologize for our technical difficulty, but you gotta get somebody the torch of who brought you this far, helped you get this far.
My family. You know, I can honestly say that you know, my family has been my biggest supporters, and wanting to always represent them to the best that I could possibly do. Um, you know, I've had great coaches in my career. And I've also had great mentors. I have really good mentors that help keep me grounded, that I bounce off things off of them back and forth from time to time also. And then Cedric, you know, I think that, you know, I've been, Ced and I have known each other now for about 9 years, and definitely has helped me become um, a better person, a better coach, understanding, back in the day, you know, like Coach Moon Leonard was talking about us. It was nothing for us to walk in the gym like we was the baddest one with looking like we about to beat people up, but now we just coming in quiet through the back door, and we'll whoop you, and then we'll leave on out, sneak on out through the back door. We were gonna come in the front door a few years ago. But so it's just been overall, it's just been a very humbling experience. And I would honestly say my circle and my family has helped me become the person that I am today.
Now, I got two daughters, and they got me wrapped around my their finger. Are you a daddy's girl? Dawn, did you hear me?
Dawn. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Is it still freezing? Is it?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm not a daddy's girl. I'm the baby, so I got it good from mommy and daddy.
Man, I tell you, we got so much in common. I'm the youngest of my family as well, so I know that target. One thing, Dawn, and you seem like a go-get-it coach, and you know when to get up in the face and when to back, and you're not a politician. Talking with some people who have worked with you, you honest, you straight up. This day and time, a lot of athletic directors run from that now. Everybody wants to control the head coach. How you get around that with your athletic director? Just kind of keep things in open.
Well, like I said before, I haven't been in a situation to where I worked for an AD that has tried to put me in a box. My athletic director that hired me at Prairie View is now the AD at Jackson State, Asher Robinson. And he, as well as my current AD, they've never really tried to confine me. And it's been a great situation and a great opportunity for me. So I don't have that to worry about.
Right. Now, choosing your assistants, it sounds like definitely the head coach don't do it like itself. This is an opportunity for you to, kind of put those guys out there and kind of push them. How you like your assistants?
I love them, and nobody can have them. And it's they say that you're not supposed to you're supposed to talk your assistant. Can't nobody have them. I love them, and it just is what it is.
Can we get it? Hey, I'm trying. I sell HBCU coaches. Can we get a name of who your assistants are?
Well, I have a coach. I have no, seriously. So I do have Coach Nicole Meelan, who's been with me since I've been at UAPB. She's a interim. She was an interim head coach at East Carolina, and so she's done a really good job as far as helping us establish, who we are on social media. She helps me kind of execute that stuff to its entirety. Also, Coach Nate Bell is a graduate of Texas Southern University. And he's wonderful. He's my go-getter. Anything that
this is killing me. Wow. So you had Nate Bell of Texas Southern. That's one of my
together
guys.
as assistants. So they've been really wonderful to me. I love my staff.
Yeah. In this day and time, Dawn, how much does social media I'm back. Talking with my producer. I think it's on her side of the technical difficult problems, and she's up in the Arkansas Pine Bluff. She's out in the sticks, but we gonna move on. We got about 9 minutes left. I want to first thank Dawn, Coach Thornton, and the time that she gave me today, and maybe we might need to bring her back when the season starts, because she's a heck of a coach. As you see that the recruiting class that she's brought in, man, it's going to make SWAC women's basketball one of the sports that you want to watch and you want to see. And, again, can't say nothing about the Cedric and Dawn Thornton family. You got two coaches that are married, that lives apart, and they have a strong relationship, and I think they are leaders, in this business, because that's hard to do. So I want to take my hat off to both of them. I want to take my hat off to UAPB, for hiring such a great coach. So we're looking to move this thing forward as far as coming to the end of the show of the HBCU Stroll. We're doing some new things and some good things with the show. I want to continue to thank you guys for sharing it, subscribe to it. Make sure that you tune in every Monday from 12 to 1 to watch the show as it grows. Again, I can't thank you enough for your contribution. There she goes. She's back for a minute.
My players are clowning me. They say it's my Wi-Fi, so I'm on my phone now. So I want to finish this thing the right way. So I'm on my phone now. So
Don. Yeah, your final remarks for the show. See, and we're gonna take it from you're in Pine Bluff, so. But go ahead.
On my laptop. I thought we were gonna be good. But I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Johnnie, for having me on, asking me. This meant a lot to me. Being able to shine some light on our program is something that we don't really get enough opportunities to do so. So I thank you for that. I think I have quite a few of my players that are on. Anytime I get a chance to talk about them and allow them to shine, I always want to acknowledge them. So they're my babies, and I don't really miss them. So, y'all stay at home, and I'll see y'all when y'all get back. But I just appreciate you for having me, and thank you so much. And anything that I can do to come back and bless you, I definitely will.
Well, look, Dawn, you got to come back, and we're going to have you. We'll check your NCAA book. I want you to bring some of your players on, when you get one of them big wins. And one of the things that I want to say to you and say to my support staff, what time I got, is that you have coached and beat PWI schools with the UAPB. So it ain't, sometimes we jump in something new, but we got coaches like you that get overlooked that have beat schools like that. So it ain't nothing new. I just real fast, kind of make your comments on that. You're a coach. You ain't just a black coach. You're a basketball coach.
Well, it goes back to the old saying with my coach, what Denise, Coach Taylor used to put in our mind. We're gonna put our pants on one leg at a time. But something that I've adopted, a mindset and mentality that I put on my players every year is your preparation will be your separation. So we're gonna make sure that when they step on the floor, those Lady Lions step on the floor, that they're going to be prepared. They're gonna have the confidence. They understand the fact that we got to go and get this check in order to help softball, to help baseball, to help volleyball. They understand that, and then they embrace the challenge, and they want to be able to be seen and be known for doing something that's never been done before. So we're gonna leave our legacy and take care of our business wherever we go.
Well, see, that's HBCU athletics, where each team support each team. It's always been a family atmosphere. We don't talk about playing professional ball like that's the first topic. We talk about graduating. We talk about spending time with each other after graduation. And I know, you've been away from Jackson State, but I know when you go back there, people still show you love. And that's my take on why I started this HBCU Stroll, to make sure that women like you don't be forgotten, and you're a shining pearl in my view and in my supporters' view. And we're gonna follow you this year. You tell your girls that Coach Cole gonna come up there, and we gonna do a show at UAPB on you and them. Make sure you check the rules, because we don't want nobody pulling one on you. So we'll be in compliance.
Absolutely.
I promise you that. I'm in Dallas, so I'm about 6 hours from you.
So when we play SMU on November 29th, then we got to make sure you come to that game.
Yes. I look, I live right there in Arlington, so I know where SMU is from there, and I look forward to that game. And I'm gonna talk to my production people, and maybe. And you said the 29th?
November 29th.
Okay,
yeah.
I got to see what date that is, so we'll make sure that we have everything ready and get those players seen and bring out the greatness in UAPB women's basketball. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, man, we're back. Trying to finish this thing up. We kind of fell off at the end. Again, I apologize to the supporters. Sometimes this technical thing gets kind of crossed. But again, it's the HBCU Stroll with the coach, Johnnie Cole. If you feel yourself at the end of the rope, tie a knot and hold on tight, because ain't nobody bad like you. See you next week on the HBCU Stroll.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.